Hi, everybody. I hear an echo. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the No More Heroin Survivor Series. The Survivor Series is an original product of No More Heroin, and we showcase inspirational testimonies of people who have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds to have and live a life of purpose and destiny. And tonight, my guest is Cody Bowen. I will introduce Cody further. We're going to let the audience build, and I hope you enjoy this track from ASAP Preach. I Won't Give Up.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. I'd like to welcome all the YouTube viewers on the No More Heroin Survivor Series YouTube channel as well. Please share this out, y'all. Hi, Brian. Sarah Cirillo. Hi, Jody.
Listen.
Derek, please share this out.
I know you feeling this. Life is harder than you thought, and you were sick of it. Things were better back when you were a little kid until daddy came home drunk and belligerent. Past darker than a silhouette, sitting here thinking how you could just end this quick. Remembering since you were a kid, grew up listening to Eminem. Why the doctors trying to prescribe you some Ritalin? Right? Just because you're different, the sickening, searching for love out here to get intimate. You lost innocence, then addiction hits, feeling broken inside with joy lost in the wind. Looking for love on earth, but caught in your sin. Maybe you had it, but it slipped through your fingertips. So God whispers in your ear, I am listening. With everything you got, lift your hands and say, I won't give up. When life gets too hard, just let God help you up and say, I won't give up. To the sky, just know he's here. Just smile and don't let up. I won't give up. Feeling weak, just look at the cross. You feeling lost, hold on and say, I won't give up. No matter what you were going to make it, just keep your faith and always pray. I won't give up. I don't know what you're going through right now, but nothing's too big, nothing's too heavy to put down at the feet of Jesus. He says, come, those who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Lord, we surrender all to you right now. In Jesus' name. I found later I was writing about myself and the pain and the hurt that I felt. It was overwhelming to hear this, the voice in the lyrics, that pain nobody could ever tell. But deep down, I was struggling with this past. It brought me feelings, but those memories never last. It hit me fast like a sprinter that's in a dash. I was a broken man that ended up in a crash. Out of control, my mind and my soul went drastic. Times when I rolled the fire at my forward blast.
Man,
when I was in jail and in a cell in the gun and more than a club and rapping. The Lord was the one, the Father and Son, they had me. Lord, you play me and I don't know why. I'll give it to you, Lord, all my life, so I'ma live it for you. When life gets too hard, just let God help you up and say, I won't give up. To the sky, just know he's here. Just smile and don't let up. I won't give up. Feeling weak, just look at the cross. You feeling lost, hold on and say, I won't give up. No matter what you were going to make it, just keep your faith and always pray. I won't give up. When life gets too hard, just let God help you up and say, I won't give up. To the sky, just know he's here. Just smile and don't let up. I won't give up. Feeling weak, just look at the cross. You feeling lost, hold on and say, I won't give up. No matter what you were going to make it, just keep your faith and always pray. I won't give up. A lot of you probably don't even know this about me, but I'm showing you the interview of my life so that you can see the pain, you can see the hurt, where I came from, and hopefully find some hope in your life. In Jesus' name, this is my interview.
Such a powerful, powerful, powerful track. The artist's name is ASAP Preach, ASAP Preach. The song is I Won't Give Up. Please check him out on YouTube. He's from Texas. Powerful, powerful. Used to be a member of the Kingdom Music Group. and he's got a powerful message. So welcome everyone again to the No More Heroin Survivor Series. Tonight I have a special guest, a dear friend of mine, Cody Bowen from Ohio. He's the founder and creator of Regeneration Ministries. He is a Christian. He is a man of God. He's a man in recovery. He's a family man. He's been a brother to me, and I just love him. You know, you've been there for me. You prayed with me night before last when I needed it, and you always show up when I need you, and that's what we do for each other in recovery. So thank you for doing that for me, and I hope that I can be the friend that you've been to me in the future.
Most definitely. Thank you for the privilege to be your brother, man. You're a good dude.
Saying that. So please introduce yourself. Who is Cody Bowen? Come on, man.
I'm a sinner.
I'm
also on the path of sanctification, man. I make mistakes. I slip. I stumble. But I keep pushing because just like that song was saying, man, it was speaking to my soul hard. I won't give up. I can't give up. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I work hard to provide for my family. But it's also really important that, like, I remember who exactly I am and what I'm capable of, man, on my own. Apart from God, I'm a wreck of a man.
Me too, bro. Me too. I can relate to that. So give us a little history. Well, where you come from, your story about, you know, how you became involved with your addiction, where the path it took you. It doesn't have to be extensive because I know there's some other things you want to talk about, but just give a little backstory of what made Cody Bowen the man he is today. What it was like, what happened, and what you're like today, basically.
Yes, sir. Growing up, my childhood started off on the rocks before I was even born. My biological father, I guess you could say, left my mother while she was pregnant with me. I was adopted around 3 months of age. Both of my parents drank. They weren't excessively drunks, but they were alcoholics, but they still drank. My mother and my father separated when I was about 7 years old. And, you know, my mom, being a single parent, worked really hard to help to provide. I was being left with family members. I was sexually molested as a child. Sometimes some people, when they tell their story, they can like tell exactly every detail or how many times it happened. I can't. I'm one of those that, like, when something traumatic happens, I block it out. I can remember actually calling my mom a couple times after the acts had happened and like crying and not being able to tell her what had happened or what had been done to me. And it damaged my pride and my manhood, if you will, for a time. I started rebelling at this age. Actually, in the 4th grade, I was arrested for throwing my chair at my teacher, stealing a golf cart. It was out of control. It was hard for mom to handle me. Went to my dad's, went back and forth. I ended up staying with my sister for a little bit. She was 10 years older than me. For my 11th birthday, I got a 5th of Jack Daniels.
Wow.
Yeah. My 11th birthday, a 5th of Jack Daniels. Every weekend, I would be drinking with my sister, starting at the age of 11. 16 years old, I ended up moving out of mother's house. I got an apartment in Jeffersonville. I was working at Burger King. I was still drinking, partying, still trying to fill that void that had been left in me from a young age. And I started selling marijuana. That led to me selling, by the time I was in high school, cocaine, ecstasy, weed. In high school, my senior year, I actually graduated somehow after I had missed more days than I actually attended. I don't know how I pulled that one off. I think they felt bad for me. But in my high school years, I was doing coke. I broke my leg. I got a metal plate, 9 screws, and 2 pins, and the doctors prescribed me Percocet 10s. That started a 16-plus year love affair. After high school, was off the chain, bouncing around from town to town. I actually had 12 being under suspensions at one point in time, was facing felony charges for trafficking. Luckily, there was some discrepancies in the paperwork, and that didn't get pursued. I met a woman, got married. She got pregnant with my twin. I had attempted to stop a couple times for the girls' sake, but couldn't. Continued to lie and manipulate other people, use and take advantage of whoever I could to get my next fix. My wife separated. She started heroin. I did a really good job at hiding my drug addiction. I actually ended up with custody of my twins in active, full-blown addiction. Continue to lie, manipulate, use, and take advantage of people. People would always tell me, like, you got to be easy with them pills. The next step's heroin. Well, I thought I was Superman different. Not me, not this guy. I ended up getting put on the Vivitrol injection to try and help me quit, but I wasn't working a program. I wasn't doing anything else outside of that injection. So I started using methamphetamines because you can get high on methamphetamines. I attempted suicide. I went to a psych hospital, was released. When you get released from the psych hospital, you got to have like a intervention type thing with your parents and figure out what you're going to do when you leave the hospital. Well, you had unlimited access to a phone. I called one of my buddies and had him park at the back exit, sit down this intervention, pretended I was going to go home, straighten up, do everything right. I got released, and you could turn right to go to the parking lot where my family was, or to go to the parking lot where my buddy was. We were actually sitting in Applebee's, and I was about 4 years deep before people started calling me where I was and what was going on. I come back home. I lost my job. House, we had no electric, no water. I started pouring concrete, making really good money. The pills became really expensive. At one point in time, I was at about 200.
How old were you?
What was it?
How old were you at that time?
When I attempted suicide, at that point in time, I had been using the prescription pills for 14 plus years.
Wow.
Before I had tried to get clean. And then I went to meth, tried killing myself, came back home, was making really good money. My pill habit went to about $260 a day. All the while this is going on, my daughters are home sleeping on these couches, my mom's floor. And then I lost that job. And I couldn't afford the pills anymore. So I started using heroin. Buddy of mine on August 24th, 2017, we threw in $10 a piece on a 20. I remember doing it, driving to my cousin's house across town and getting out of the truck and feeling heavily intoxicated. The next thing I know, I wake up and I'm being pushed into an ambulance. The cops were asking me what I had taken. I told them Tylenol extra strength because I'm an idiot. I overdosed on heroin that day. 4 hits of Narcan to bring me back.
Wow.
I went to the hospital here in our town to be monitored because of the Narcan, and a shame and guilt set in. I had a sheet over my head going into the hospital. I had a woman that I had called and asked her to go to the bus stop and get my twins because I had custody of them at this time. She came into the hospital and told me that Children's Services was at the bus stop waiting to pick my daughters up. People had already called about us being homeless and my drug use, so there was already an investigation going on that I didn't know about. I knew that they were like the only thread that kept me what little bit held together that I was. And I told them, sitting in that hospital room, that if they didn't get me soon, I was going to end up dying a permanent death. And I left for treatment that day from the hospital here in Fayette County. And I went to treatment for 8.5 months. I learned CBT, DBT, a bunch of meetings right there. It was a really good program, really good place. I leave this program. I come back home. I had a case plan for Children's Services to get my daughters back. I'm working my case plan. I've gotten a job. And I got a phone call one day when I was on a roof that the mother of my twins had died of a drug overdose.
Tragic. That's tragic.
Yeah. I instantly became consumed with sorrow and shame. I left. I'd made a Facebook Live because her and I, we weren't together, but we were still married. We were estranged. So that means that I was responsible for the funeral. I made a Facebook Live asking for people to donate this funeral home here in Fayette County to pay for the funeral. And I get a message from a guy by the name of Tim Ryan.
I know that name.
And it tells me to call him. I looked this guy up on Facebook, and it's like, works at Transformations. He's an author of a book, has a TV show on A&E. And I'm like, is this even freaking real? So I call, and he's like, Tim Ryan here. Like, this is Cody Bowen. He said, you had kids with this woman? I said, yeah, 2. He said, you're responsible for the funeral home. The funeral. I said, yeah. He said, give me the contact information, and it's paid in full. This man that I had never met before in my life made it possible for my daughters to have a way to say goodbye to their mother. That in itself sparked a fire inside of me. I jumped head first and starting a nonprofit and started treatment, and I did that for a little while. I think we were actually able to help out about 100.
Yes, Jake.
160 people get into either treatment. We've had events.
We're losing your reception, Cody. Move to another location.
Me giving back to my community. Telling. Hear you, Higgy.
You're froze on my screen. There you go. There you're back.
Yeah, Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now you're froze again.
All right. You're kind of cutting up a little bit on me.
Yeah, I believe it's on your end with your Fayette County Wi-Fi. Can you move to another location where you get better reception?
I'm on my Wi-Fi.
Are you?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know. There's probably a bunch of other lives going on at the same time. But just go ahead and continue.
All right. After that, that's where things kind of changed. That's what made me want us to get together tonight and talk.
Yeah, I met you right after that, and I was watching you, interacting with Tim Ryan during that time. He was very, very active in my life at that time as well, and I remember calling you, and you answered the phone. I go, "Is this the Cody Bowen?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's me." We've been friends ever since that time.
Yeah. Is this the Cody Bowen? Not only friends, we got the same haircut.
Yeah. You're looking sharp, bro. You're looking.
No, that's what made me up until that point, like things started to change. That's what made me want to reach out to you and do this tonight.
You've been on fire for recovery since then, and you know you've been on fire for God, and you've created and worked. You've created businesses for yourself to reach people in your community. You know, you help people regardless of where they are, you know, financially, and you've bent over backwards to help a lot of people in your community, and you gave back so much, and I really applaud you for doing that, because you have a heart like me.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it a lot. It definitely wasn't easy, and it took a lot of work. But like in my notes, I got wrote down when I wanting to get with you, like lies, manipulation, adultery, control, domestic violence charges, ego, self-centeredness. We hear those words and we often think of a drug addict or someone in active addiction.
Character defects, for sure.
Those words, right? Those words have explained to me in recovery.
Explain.
Those are all behaviors and things that I have done since I've been in recovery. Those are all things that I have engaged in. And I didn't even realize that a lot of it was going on because I was so busy taking everybody else's inventory. I was so busy trying to help everyone else that I wasn't even taking the time that I needed to help myself.
Can relate.
Recovery, it's never too late, bro. And what's amazing is I can say I engaged in those things or those things happen and I did not get high. I did not use a substance. Recovery is beautiful. Recovery has given me things that I would have never obtained. The job I have now, I wouldn't have. This massive house we live in now, I wouldn't have. The wife I have now, I wouldn't have. Our vehicle that I stopped into a dealership to ask questions about, I wouldn't have. But what's scary and what worries me, and I've heard a lot of people say it that are new into the recovery world now, is like they hear people's hope shots and they get so mad and so upset when the promises aren't coming to them. There's people that think the steps are 1, 9, and 12. That's not how they work. They're in order. There's a reason for them. There's a process. And a lot of people want to skip over this process and just get to the goods, but you can't do that.
I've been that person myself.
I have too. It happens. And I think the reason that it happens as much as it happens is because people aren't told that it happens. You know what I mean? People are so quick to tell you like everything's wonderful, things are good. Look, I've got this has happened. But you don't hear them talking about like, excuse my language, but shit gets real.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a few months ago, I was on the verge of divorce from my own self-centered, egotistical self.
Self-will run.
And people, yes, yeah. I'm an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. Like character defects and our behaviors are able to come out at a moment's notice.
Mhm.
In 1 second, they're there, busting out the seams. Look, I lied to and manipulated my wife from the very beginning of her meeting me. This poor woman married a man that she didn't even know. And that's not okay. That is, I did that, sir. And I blamed everyone around me.
Mhm.
It's happened from the beginning of time. When God said, "Did you eat of the fruit?" Adam said, "She did." God asked Eve, she said, "The snake told me to do it." Like, I think that now with this quarantine, like, if I wish I could sit down and break down the last few months of my life and how beautiful coming together, I feel a freedom that I haven't experienced since I've been in recovery. Because my shit got exposed, man. I had to deal with it. I have to work on me. And this quarantine with stuff being shut down, I'm able to call my sponsor, go to his house, and sit with him for 4 hours. And it's not like I'm missing out on anything. Like, God's given me the perfect opportunity to work on me.
Yes. Yes.
And if any, like,
Thank God for this process and the people that work a real program to help us through these times, right?
yes, a real program. I said it in the messenger thread that we're in the other day. We also have to be very careful who we lean on and who we seek guidance and advice from, because there's some people that want to prey on you and there's some people that want to prey on you.
Pray
They are not the same.
pray with you.
Like, we've got to be careful. That tell me one person that's in recovery who did not have an ego problem or does not have an ego problem.
We all deal with
We
ego.
are all we all deal with it. We all deal with it. Like, there's more judgment and people looking at you sideways for how you're recovering or what you're doing in recovery than there is in the world.
Judging,
Yes.
judging.
Yes.
Not taking their own inventory.
Look,
Hi, I love you.
Get here. Hi.
He said, "I love you." Burnt today.
I hope that's all right. I
said
that to your wife.
It's all right, man. Yeah, we're live. But the last 3 months, man, God has given me this amazing opportunity to actually dig in and do the work. Look, it reminded me, I got some notes here, man.
I know you disappeared for like 2.5 weeks and I couldn't reach you and I was concerned. And I sent you some crappy messages.
I had to. It wasn't my past even reached out like, "Man, are you sure you're okay? You're being weird. You're being different." Yeah, I'm being different. I got work to do, son.
I'm so proud of you for doing that. You know, that people need to know that they can disconnect from social media and other people to work on themselves, you know, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're no good to anybody else at all. And
we're garbage.
And the fact that you took the time to work on yourself, to get your affairs in order in your home speaks volumes for you as a man and your recovery process.
I don't want to go back. I can't go back. You know, most people say, "I'm afraid to go back because if I get high one more time, I'll die." Brother, I'm going to be completely honest right now, and I'm afraid to go back because I'm afraid I'm going to live. I will go back using and have to deal and live in the misery and the heartache and the pain that I cause not only myself, but other people. I'm not afraid. I don't abstain from going out because I'm afraid I'm going to die. I abstain from going out because I'm afraid I'm going to live.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
I know my disease of addiction doesn't want me dead. It wants me alive and suffering as long as possible.
Yes.
I agree.
And I wanted to stress, like, recovery is beautiful. Giving back is beautiful. 100%. But listen, there's going to come a day where we are all judged. And I would much rather sit down and work through some steps with a sponsor, someone that loves me and someone that cares about me, and allow them help me to judge myself and evaluate me than to stand before God engaging in the behaviors and the horrible things that I was doing to not only myself, but those around me that I love and I care about.
I agree.
And it says in Matthew, I think it's 7:24, where, like, make Jesus your foundation. And then it talks about the rains will come, the wind will come, but your house will be okay. Like, we've got to dig deep, make sure that we have a solid foundation. And that doesn't mean that storms aren't going to come or that the wind's not going to almost knock us over. But as long as our foundation's solid, we're good.
And we stay and we remain standing to weather the storm some more.
That's right. I wish, I pray. I've told you, and you know, like, there's been a lot of people that I have helped, that God has helped through me, allowed me to be a vessel. And I have seen a lot of people. There was a point in time where I could say, we've helped 160 people get into treatment. And someone said, how many of them were? And at that time, there was 15 people that remained sober. But that's still 160 people that had the opportunity.
Right.
But I wish I'd have been knowledgeable to warn them and let them know, like, this isn't sunshine and rainbows, Buttercup. Like, the drugs and the substance were just part of the problem. The other part of the problem is your ass. Now go do some work and figure it out.
It all starts and ends with me.
Yes. My worst enemy, I am. My greatest ally, I am.
I am. Good one. So tell us about Regeneration Ministries and what your line of thinking was when you created this.
Well, it's kind of on pause for the moment being because of the coronavirus that's going on, and the meetings were being held at a local church, and they're only allowed to have so many people. But the vision for Regeneration Ministries, or also known as Journey to Regeneration, is a level of accountability amongst people in a program of recovery. Because sometimes, no, scratch that statement. All the time, we're not really good at pointing our own crap out. So it's good to have people that walk it how they talk it to help hold one another up as we go down this journey.
I love it.
It's a treatment resources now are amazing. I love Derek tagging me in that New Day stuff every day, man, because people used to message me like, hey, I need a detox, or can you help me find a detox? And I'll just say, look at my page, man. Like, Derek hooks it up, you know?
Derek is the man.
Treatment. He's an amazing dude. And getting into treatment isn't the hard part anymore. When I first started with Resurrection Recovery, I can remember being on the phone for 8 to 10 hours to try and find someone a bed. Now, literally, I can pick up the phone and call Tim Kraft. I can call owners of treatment centers and get a bed right now. But what I'm noticing, it's not getting into the treatment. It's when they come home.
Yes. Supportive services.
Yes. It's diminishing. Like, peer support's doing pretty good and stuff like that. But, like, the fellowship, I want it to be strong. I don't want it to be a fellowship. I want it to be a brotherhood, a sisterhood. My wife inspires the crap out of me, dude, because she called me on my crap. And in a place of love, coming straight from love. Like, and I still don't think she gets it to this day how I didn't notice it. Actually, the other day she said, "You had to be told it was wrong to lie." Yeah, I did. Hold me accountable. Tell me when I'm an idiot. I need it. We all need it.
That's a partner. That's a partner.
I want to show you. I want to show you an analogy real quick. My kids might be loud.
The regeneration part of it. It's coming back from the dead, right?
Yeah, regeneration, it means life after death. Like going from the darkness to the light. Perfect. That's how we came up with the regeneration.
Perfect.
Look, I want to show you a little analogy. Can you hear me?
Yep.
You see these steps?
Yes.
Each step is the exact same size, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with each step, you go to a higher elevation. With each step, you go a little bit further. Each step is the same size, but each step gets you a little bit further in your journey. With that being said, there are only 12 steps that need to be taken to true freedom.
Absolutely.
When I came home and did my steps, I actually went and jumped through a couple sponsors because I was horrible at someone telling me what I needed to do. But I went without a sponsor for a year and a half because of my ego. The sponsor that I have now is absolutely amazing. So if anyone's listening to this is in recovery and does not have a sponsor, or is one of those that sits in the rooms and says, "I'll work my steps eventually. I'll work my steps eventually. I'll work my steps eventually." Well, eventually has come. And if you don't do them now, you're going to find yourself where I did a few months ago, on the verge of divorce, caught up in my own self-centered fear.
Procrastination and complacency.
Yeah. And it even tells you in your reading, I didn't realize it the first time I'd went through them, but this time it stood out. There's a reason why in every big book, regardless of what program you're working, it'll say, even if you've been here for a while, meaning even if you've been in the rooms, even if you have links of sobriety, you're going to find yourself engaging in things that you should not be engaging in, and it is important to your recovery to have someone that loves you and cares about you besides you to point it out and call you on it.
Absolutely, because it's so easy to slip back into our old ways, backslide back into our old ways, and without actively pursuing recovery or working the steps, we'll fall into complacency, and then we'll find ourselves in a point at a point of brokenness and being totally defenseless against picking up or acting out in a negative manner, which will hurt us and our loved ones as well.
And a good indicator that you're probably going down that road or close to getting there is the obsessive and compulsiveness, man. Like
compulsive.
My sponsor pointed that out to me right now. Every thought was obsessive. Isn't she pretty?
She is beautiful.
But she's hiding. Anyway, every thought becomes obsessive. Every action you're taking is starting to be compulsive. Like, it's important people get it under wraps or they're going to hurt people that love and care about them.
Absolutely. Acting without thinking, without thinking about, what is this going to do for me or what is it going to do to me?
Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't have any diapers, so.
You want to say hi to Gabe, Higgy?
Yeah.
Higgy.
Hi,
Higgy.
Gabe.
Say hi. Say
Hi.
hi, Higgy.
Hi.
He's not going
The
to
last
say
time
hi.
I seen him.
Oh, dude, he's huge. He's walking.
Look at that. So much bigger than when I visited.
Are you going to be a while?
No, not much. Why?
Because I'm leaving. They're going to be unsupervised.
Okay, I'll get out there. My wife says we're done playing, Higgy.
Okay.
No,
I love you, buddy, and thank you for real.
I love you. I'll always be here for you, no matter what, anytime.
Like I said, if anybody's watching this and they're new to recovery, just be careful. Get a sponsor. Work the steps. Don't think that you're better than anybody else. Don't think that you're different than anybody else. Like, our character defects and our behaviors are way stronger than we are.
Mm-hmm. Tell the truth, right?
Recognize it.
Get honest,
yeah,
and tell the truth. That's a first step principle is honesty.
You're able to do it when you take that first step, but make it a practice, something that you're willing to do continuously. Like, fear can be crippling. Like, I lied to my wife out of a fear of losing her, when if I'd have just been honest with her from the beginning, she wouldn't have left me. She would have stood right there beside me, but the level of faith that she would have in me would be way stronger than it is now.
Yes. Tyler Pack says he's waiting on Cody Bowen to spit some bars.
All right. Cody and Higgy about to bring recovery to your doorstep. A lot of people get goosebumps and chicken out at the fourth step. Listen, I'm going to come at you real crazy, Pac-Man. One of these days, I'll teach you how to rap, man. Listen, I used to ride with you. I used to vibe with you. I used to Bonnie and Clyde with you. But then a part of me died with you. I better stop. I'm going to quit.
That's not bad.
I love you.
That's not bad.
I'm going to get out here. I'm going to get in here with these kiddos and hang out with them for a little bit. I love you, man.
I love you so much, man. Call me tomorrow.
You got it. Peace.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That was my dear friend Cody Bowen from Ohio. I love my people from Ohio, and I want to showcase them whenever possible. But please, if you're struggling, reach out. There is help available. There's people in the comments on the page, any page. I'm here for you. Please, you don't have to pick up no matter what. And if you do, please reach out, because you don't have to live in that relapse. You don't have to, suffer all the consequences that some of us have. So I love you all. Hi, Corey. Love you, bro. We haven't spoken for a while. We should catch up. Love to get you on here as well. You got bars. You got bars. I know you do. I love you, Larry McCoy, my brother from Kentucky. Seen Margaret Cotton in here. I love you, Margaret. Pam Ridgely, thank you for being here. Tyler Pack, I love you, bro. My another Buckeye brother of mine. Adam Foster, I love you. Sober Dad. Go check out Sober Dad. Gucci Recovery. Dot to Dot Ministries. Larry's page. Renee Cooper, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for having my back. All right, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go spend some time with my friends. Okay, my friend. Peace, guys. Love you.